For this exhibit, we really were concentrating on a much more narrow focus involving contemporary South Carolina couples with South Carolina connections that were both in the visual arts, and talking about the relationships. How does the relationship have an impact on the way they work, the way they think, the way they pursue their artwork, how they make decisions, that sort of thing.
Well, working together has been something that we've done, ever since we met, and it's certainly progressed to having this studio, and working together in the same studio has been wonderful for me, and working with a supportive person helps a lot as well. I can't even imagine being married to a person who is not an artist.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have somebody who understands your frustrations when things go wrong. And I think part of the reason I fell in love with Sharon is that she could weld. So, there are all the kind of technical things that you can use help with, aside from the moral support and all of those kind of issues.
The notion of what an artist does in terms of just making art, I think, has to have a connection with the world around them, and has to have this idea of their world, of their point of view, and a connection to themselves. So the works are small stories of individual insights.
The subject matter of my docs, and most of them are short docs, all focus on people who have something important to say that I align myself with, but they don't have a loud voice where they live or what they're doing. So filmmaking or documentary making can give their voice much more exposure. I certainly am very influenced by your work, but you were started to do panels in a sequence after I started making documentaries, and that was watching all of that.
It's the timeline on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The visual movement of a story started to enter into his still paintings.
This is what happens when you work in the same building.
Or this is what happens to married couples. They start to look alike, they start to work alike.
Coming from a family that is artistic and creative, I came from a very creative family, and it certainly set me up to live creatively and be interested in creative people. So I would say very much so that that influenced my choice and my delight in meeting David and getting together with him, because he came from a similar sort of understanding and appreciation of the arts.
Wherever I've gone with my work, she's made it much easier, a transition that, I didn't have to fight anything. Although at times there's certain subject matters or something she might object to, or she'd say, that person looks a little too much like me in that painting. Don't have that person in there. Or change that person.
Not very often, though.
Not very often.
I wanted the text panels that we created to function as sort of a mini time capsule that would give the viewer very quickly an idea of who these people are, what their relationship is like, how that relationship impacts their creative process, and then the interaction and finally the delivery to the viewer, what the viewer would get out of it as well.
A lot of these relationships are really long-term, and they've got twists and turns and different approaches. You can see in the statements a real strong relationship between these people, but some of them work in very similar ways, some of them work in very different manners, and it has an impact on the way they think about the work.